What's going on, you rascals? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. If you guys could, subscribe to WQAM's YouTube page as well. The Tobin and Leroy Show. You guys can watch it exclusively there and on Twitch. I guess I can't say exclusively on YouTube, but exclusively on YouTube and Twitch at the channel Miami 560 WQAM. Maybe you're a Twitcher. Maybe you're a YouTuber. Whatever it is, we'd love you to come along and come watch the show today. As the Miami, I hope everybody enjoyed today's fodder. Everybody trying to convince themselves, could the Celtics be the team that comes back from 3-0? I even have some lunatic friends of mine who are like, well, now it's 3-1. People have come back from 3-1. That's not how that works, dude. You don't get to just retroactively make something a 3-1 series. Although I do think there is some good thought process for any Heat fans that are freaking out, which I think you're a maniac if you are, of like you would take the Heat being up 3-1 in any situation at any time. And you know, I would be like, what is the most pressure the Heat have faced was what, Game 6? You know, not closing out the Knicks in the Garden. Is that like the worst position the Heat have been in? This is what's supposed to match that. I guess I'll take that. I think all of it's crazy. Like I'm hearing some of the fathers like, well, what if it gets to a Game 6? Well, how tight will it be? It'll be a must win. Like Charles Barkley loves doing this, where he's like, oh well, it's a must win for the Heat because then you got Game 7. It's like you don't get to do that when you've already won twice in Boston. Like you don't get to up the ante. And honestly, I think if any team is good about putting the next thing behind them, it has been this Heat team. So I think Jimmy Butler said it best when he came to the podium yesterday.
They can say what they like. I don't worry because everything's gonna be all right.
The only thing to really keep an eye out for is Gabe Vincent and his ankle injury. This is what Gabe was saying about that yesterday after the game.
Gabe, what through when you had your injury in the ankle? Supposedly you just wanted to tape it out and get back in, but what were you going through from the time you went to the locker room to coming back?
I came in here and I saw, I think Marcus Smart hit a 3, finished taping, and just ran back out there. That's pretty much it.
Is there much pain now, Gabe?
No.
So Gabe's officially on the Heat's injury report. He is questionable for a sprained left ankle. Obviously something to keep out for. Gabe has been outstanding in this series. Could mean a lot of minutes for Kyle Lowry, who did not have a great performance. And the one thing I will say with the vets, this has been a thing to keep an eye out on, is the 1 day of rest. Now, Kevin Love shouldn't be tired. I mean, Kevin Love is out there. Spo's playing him basically just as like a little hat tip right now in this series. He's like letting him go out there, and he hits a couple threes, and then he sits his ass on the bench for the entire game. But definitely something to keep an eye out on. But the Heat are in a good position. Jimmy Butler's confidence, I think, is unwavering, sky high, and I'm looking forward to it tomorrow, man. I can't wait. I'm really, really excited for the Heat to get back out there and see how they bounce back, because I think certainly the worst game they played in the postseason from a self-inflicted standpoint. Like, they got crushed by Milwaukee, but that was, you want to talk about a three-pointer game. That was crazy. But anyway, I wanted to pop on here today because I don't know how many people on the YouTube page saw it, but I put this video out yesterday. People went crazy over it. And this was a pregame workout video from Nikola Jovic. And I was like pretty stunned by how many people were into this, because you get there early. You get to a Heat game. Let me give you a boots on the ground report. So boots on the ground, typically you get there. First guy to work out's always Kyle Lowry. Gets there. He's working out super early, like 3 hours before the game. He's always shooting. So yesterday, I think it was 5:30. If it's typically, usually on a 7:30 regular season game, Kyle Lowry's out there 4:30 p.m. shooting. And the next guy who has been doing his workouts lately is Nikola Jovic. But it's a little bit different than what they're doing with Kyle Lowry. Like, Kyle Lowry has his set workouts that he's doing. And, he goes through his shots, his movements, going around screenshots, all that type of stuff that he works on. But, it's at a vet pace, I will say. And Jovic, they're putting through kind of the ringer more. Like, the pregame workout is a little bit more on tempo. They're running him through things. They're trying to get him multiple shots in adverse situations. And, it's a cool thing to see, because this guy is so young. I mean, we're talking, 19 years old, hasn't even graduated high school yet, technically, which is something I love saying. Which, by the way, I feel like he's not going to graduate high school. I feel like he's going to continue to trick Mama Jovic and say, I got to do Karan Butler school. I have to go learn from Chris Quinn. That is my school right now. But everybody has noticed from Nikola Jovic, like, the dude looks much more put together physically. He missed most of this season with a back injury. We got to see some dazzling stuff. The kid clearly has one of the things Bo said is, like, the thing that's most ahead is his passing. And we saw some beautiful passes from Jovic at certain points in the preseason and the regular season before he had the back injury. But he was slender. Like, I remember standing next to him at a media day. I have an interview with Jovic in the on the page here you guys can check out.
So who are your favorite guys? Like, if you like, I got to stop every time this guy's playing. I got to watch him on TV.
I mean, I have a couple of guys.
Tell me.
Actually, I watch almost everyone. It's not like I watch a couple of players. I love also LeBron, KD, Curry, Jimmy also, Jokic, of course, Giannis, Luka, everybody. I really, I love to watch basketball. And, like, sticking only to one player, it's just not that,
Yeah.
There's so many players that can do so many things, and you want to see everything.
Really nice kid, but, like, yeah, he was super tall and super skinny. And you could just tell throughout this year, because we're talking, 8 months ago now, because it's May, media days in September. Yeah, so we're talking 8 months, something like that. Yeah, he looks much more put together than he did at that point. And Spo had mentioned at one point this year that they were going to put him through their weight program and really get him built up. But, people got a little looky-loo. And I've done this over the last couple of games. One of the things that's been exciting is just to watch Jovic work out and see all the stuff that they're putting him through. Even like Chris Quinn is like D'ing him up at some points to kind of just like, let him go against. Because most of the time he's just going against nobody. He's just working on moves. He's working on form. Then every once in a while they'll throw something at him. But people were excited about this video, man. It was pretty wild to see. Like, some of the reactions I got were like, the secret weapon. One guy says, my dog putting on weight. He'd have him in the chamber. This is what organizational player development looks like. This is why no one in the Heat organization is ever shocked by a player's success and the kid that they and the work that they put in. This kid is going to be so good. This kid's going to be in the rotation next year. Rook might be a problem next year. Like, I got so many people going crazy over this video and got, like, I don't know, 250,000 views on social media yesterday. So it was cool to see people hyped up about it. I think that, look, nobody likes to retweet misses. So I did make this thing look pretty good. But I will say, a lot of his skills are very, very impressive. And it's not like he's just sitting there shooting empty corner threes the entire time. It's usually like, go make a move, go make a pick and roll move, then hop out to the corner, turn around jumper from the corner three. Like, it's really stuff they really mess with that they do with a lot of their guys, where they're doing shooting drills where they can't look at the basket, they have to turn around and shoot the three in the corner. Like, it's not just this set one thing that they're doing. And as I'm saying this, I'll roll some of what Jovic was doing. But it's been it's cool. I really do think we're seeing a guy who you can see they believe in, they're putting some growth into, and they're trying, it feels like, to accent a lot of his skills, because you think about the age that he's at, the height that he's at, the amount of bulk they can put on him. Yeah, it is intriguing, because you think about all these guys that the Heat get, and we talk about this undrafted thing all the time, and the Heat, will typically get, like, undersized guards, maybe a guy who's a tweener size, but are excellent shooters. We know all the shooting drills they put Duncan Robinson through to make him as polished as they did. The work that they've done on Gabe Vincent to go from basically a shooting guard to a point guard. Like, they do a top-notch job. Everybody on that staff from the top on down really, really does some great development work with Jovic and the entire team. But the thing that's intriguing about Nikola is that he is as tall as he is as young as he is, and they've never really developed anybody quite like him. You know, like they've had the young guys play before. Like they've done. Tyler was 19 years old and was playing in the finals, and or was playing that season. I think he turned 20 before the finals. You know, Michael Beasley was super young, played for the Heat. So they've had Darrell Wright. I think everybody looks at this with, you know, it's possible not everybody to get a little goosies thinking about, oh, could he be there? Could he be their Joker? Which, what an insane thing to put on the poor kid, because he's from the same country. They dined together. They're one letter apart in name, but is what it is. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jovic. You know, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. But they've never really had the international project to come over here and develop. They really haven't. It's not been an organization that has had a bunch of that. I mean, listen, they had their best international player is Goran, to right off the top of my head. I mean, maybe I'm missing somebody that's super obvious, but Goran is like such a different player. Like he's a 6'3" point guard, slick shooter, excellent player, arguably the best point guard in franchise history. Certainly probably number 2 to Tim Hardaway. But Jovic, it's like you look at that and think about what this organization does with development, and it's, you know, it's kind of exciting to think about. He got his first chance to play to get his first playoff points in the blowout the other night. So happy. We've gotten some memeable Jovic moments so far in the playoffs, which has been cool. But my favorite part about these workouts is he does this move. I'll throw this up here for you. He does this move at the end, which is like, it's basically like a turnaround, you know, jumper that he does in the corner to, you know, shake off a defender and fade away into the corner to hit these shots. And he does it, noticing there's probably like 4 or 5 workouts for Jovic in a row, because Jovic works out and then the vets start coming on, the vet bigs come on, and, you know, he gets out of there. And Caron Butler works with Big Yurt, I believe. I think it's Big Yurt or Zell. I forget which one he works out with, but Caron Butler comes out and he comes to work out with one of the bigs, right? And he showed him this move. I can't remember which game it was, but I remember him showing him the move, right? But he shows him this go-to move. Caron Butler, former All-Star, former Heat first-round pick. So it's kind of cool to see the symmetry in these guys working out together. But Jovic has this, you know, is getting taught this move by Caron Butler, and is, you know, he's making him do it over and over and over and over again until he hits it. And so now Jovic has to do the move before the workout ends. If he doesn't, the workout does not end until Jovic hits the move. And so yesterday, I think it took him like 3 attempts to do it. And you could just see the delight in his face when he gets it done. Daps up Caron and then heads to the locker room. And I just had, like, you know, Caron has been super cool to me on the show before and been on multiple times. And it honestly one of the nicest guys. Like, so I went up to Coach Butler afterwards, and I'm like, hey man, hey Coach Caron, you got to show respect, you know. And by the way, like, again, I keep saying with this Heat coaching staff, how these guys aren't getting more of the respect around the league in these interviews is crazy to me. But I said, hey, what is that move you've been, like, I notice you guys do that every time. And he goes, that's one of my go-tos. I taught him. And I told him I think he's going to win a game with it one day. And that's goosies for me, dude. That's goosies galore. You know, that's Heat culture, passing of the torch right there. So I really dug that. A lot of you guys seem to as well. But yeah, man, Nikola Jovic. Looks like everybody's enjoying what they're seeing out of the young Heat first-round pick, who didn't really get a true rookie year because most of it was spent injured, and now seems like it's been spent basically in the lab trying to build some, you know, one of these next basketball freaks. But he You know, he got everybody a little excited with that video yesterday. It was really cool to see. And I think something else fun to deflect our attention on while we wait for this next game, because every idiot on TV is like, oh, this could be the Celtics coming back. Probably not, though, dude, right? Like, be honest with yourself. So, can't wait for Game 5. Best words in sports, dude. I can't wait to see him tomorrow.